Hi everybody, I'm Gwendolyn Sterk from Sterk Family Law, and we're privileged today to introduce you to another great resource that we have here in our community. And I'm here today with Brian Nottage, one of the Vice Presidents of Family Guidance Centers. And you're here both in 2 locations in Joliet and 1 in Manteno, is that correct?
That's correct.
So Brian, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. So I am an administrator with the Family Guidance Centers and also a licensed counselor. I've been with the company for going on 18 years now. And we are a nonprofit substance abuse and mental health treatment services provider operating throughout Illinois.
Throughout Illinois. And so specifically it's a broad program, but we're going to concentrate on what you do here in the Joliet and Manteno locations. Now, what type of services and treatments do you offer for substance abuse disorders?
So we have outpatient and intensive outpatient at our Joliet locations.
What's the difference between outpatient and intensive outpatient?
So you'll hear the term level of care frequently,
okay.
And then we're talking about the ASAM, or American Society for Addiction Medicine, levels of care,
okay.
Commonly used throughout the state. So level 1 is outpatient, and that's up to 9 hours a week of
okay.
treatment, group and individual counseling services. And then intensive outpatient is 9 hours and up. And then, of course, we also have residential here in Manteno.
And that would be like a 24/7 program.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yes.
And what must a client, do they have to be court ordered actually to get here into the facility?
No. In fact, a lot of our referrals are what we call a self-referral.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But we do work a lot with court systems and all levels of law enforcement, safe passage programs. So it really doesn't matter. It's whoever needs treatment.
You talked about a self-referral. You know, sometimes families are involved and they know that there's a crisis occurring and they don't know where to turn. People through life feel paralyzed, and I think that paralysis
Sure.
really stops them because they don't even know where to go. So is this something that a family could contact you with and talk about what's available in terms of programs?
Certainly, and we definitely have a lot of experience doing that. You know, family is certainly a very important resource for the individual, and part of getting people the services that they need. Ultimately, of course, we have to talk to the person.
Absolutely,
him or herself.
I understand that, right?
So, yeah.
But let's say that you're fearful of taking that first step. You know you have a problem, the family knows you have a problem, and they don't want to go without bringing a family member with them. Do you welcome that type of situation?
Absolutely.
So with
Absolutely.
open arms, they can come here and talk about their problems and look to see what available options are.
Certainly.
That's
Certainly.
great. Now, do you provide both group treatment and one-on-one? How does it work?
Yes. So the residential programs and the intensive outpatient is largely group-based. Everyone has individual sessions as well.
Okay.
That's when you would kind of synthesize what you have learned in the groups, as well as doing the things that are more appropriate for an individual session. For example, talking about a toxicology result.
Got it.
Just to name one.
Now let's just say that you're in the treatment program and you know you have a substance abuse disorder, but then throughout that you learn that maybe you have another condition that also needs to be treated. Mm-hmm. Can you guys then incorporate those other areas of mental health or other treatments that need to be done simultaneously?
Yes, we can. So we do offer mental health services throughout one of the 2 Joliet locations. Okay. Here in Manteno, we are not quite to that point yet, but it is certainly something that is on our radar and something that we want to do.
Okay, here's another question. You're out there, you know you have a problem, you don't have any money. You're worried you might have no insurance or you have a minimal policy. Mm-hmm. What's the cost? What do we have to do here?
It really isn't a cost. We are licensed through the state, and we have some state funding. We bill Medicaid, and if a person has a managed care organization sure. Coverage, we can bill that as well. So cost is really not an issue for 99%.
But for a lot of people, the cost is what prohibits them from asking for help in the first place.
Sure.
So it gives them kind of that comfort level to come in here, have a conversation. So say there's somebody out there and they know they have a substance abuse problem. Mm-hmm. They know they need help. What do they do first? Just call?
Just call, yeah. There are certainly there's a lot of stuff on our website that they can read about as well. But we like people to call because it lets us kind of have a good solid first contact where we can talk to them, there's nothing like an actual conversation.
Right, and then they can come in, visit, and see if this program works for them.
Right.
Because it's really that first step and really staying in tune with what you have to do to move forward with your life, right?
Exactly.
Now, I have another question. So what if you're in the hospital? So you have a car accident or something happens and you end up with a hospital with a substance abuse problems. Can you come straight from the hospital here to your facility? How does that work?
Sure. So we have a physician here who essentially, sees the patients in order for them to be admitted here. But we also can work with the hospital to make sure that they're appropriate for their level of care,
Sure,
and that they don't have any acute needs.
Yeah, and you can accommodate both their physical needs then as well as the substance abuse counseling and the treatment that needs to go forward with their lives.
Correct.
Now, transitions to home. So you ended up in a hospital, now you're in the inpatient program, then you might go to outpatient.
Yes,
Is that how it works?
exactly.
So maybe the outpatient intensive as we learned, right? And then
Yes.
outpatient more normal. Then what's the transition? Tell us about that part of the program.
Well, it's going to be an individualized process. It's going to depend on, the patient's progress, how long they're willing to stay.
Right.
We of course, think that often longer will be better. We do have some limitations on that imposed by some of the payors, but we do our best to get them as much as they need. And then so they would, like you said, what we call step down to a lower level of care, and it's all about where they live,
Right.
What they've done in the past, in terms of where they have been. So we make sure that they have what they need going forward, whether that's one of our sites or somewhere else. We sometimes get people from all over the state.
Okay.
It could very well be another provider.
Talk about that repeat person. So that's probably our most embarrassed listener, right? They've fallen, they got clean, they fell again. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's to seek additional help, right?
Right.
Give them a call. Tell them what they can do.
Sure. So really, relapse happens, and it's all about learning what happened. What did you not have in place? What can be better this time in terms of your treatment? What did you learn from your relapse? So we understand that it might take multiple stays, and you never know when it's going to stick or click. So we'll always be here.
You'll be here, and that's the great news, because that's really the message of the program today. What I find most fascinating about it is, it's the stigma, it's the embarrassment, it's the paralysis that you go through, and you don't want to take that first step. Mm-hmm. So the call today to whoever's listening to this video is, come, call, take that first step, right?
Yes.
Nothing to be embarrassed about. It's confidential, right?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And so everybody has that security, and you don't have to worry about the cost. So put your worries behind you, take the first step, and get the help that you need, right?
Exactly.
Can you tell people how they can get a hold of Family Guidance?
Sure. So our website is www.fgcinc.org. That's FGCINC.org. And all of our locations are listed there, addresses, phone numbers. And like we said earlier, that's the first step. Just give us a call, and we will figure out what you need.
That's fantastic. What a wonderful resource, because again, we're getting past that stigma. We're getting past that paralysis, and just pick up the phone and call. Contact through the website. Do whatever is necessary.
Exactly.
Thanks so much. I appreciate everything you do for the community.
Thank you.